Hi, I'm here right now, and you might be wondering, Maxwell, why does your video look like garbage? And that's because I'm filming this through a camera that I was very excited to get in the mail yesterday. It's also one that I don't see documented very often. There's an article on Lab Guy's website about this camera, but that one's, I don't know, there's not like test footage or anything. I've looked and there's no footage I can see made with this camera, so I figured I'd make a really quick and dirty thing just showing what this camera looks like in action. It's called the RCA CC001, and it is, as far as I know, RCA's first color consumer camera. It uses a 1-inch striped Vidicon tube, and it is from, I don't know if I've already said this, 1978. I never see tubes from like 1980 still working, so I'm shocked that this one does. The camera's a little beat up, but I mean, I got a decent price on it. I'd like to maybe even do some kind of overview video. I've never really done that kind of thing, but this camera's just really cool. It's got a 1/4-inch jack for a microphone too, so I plugged one in because this camera's lens doesn't have a very great depth of field. I don't know much about lenses, but this one's let me see, 'cause I've got the exact same lens, just slightly older for a black and white Vidicon camera I've got. Let me see. It is a 25 millimeter, and it's just a normal C mount, so I can put a few of my Bolex lenses on here too, which is it's not fun, but it's functional. Now the thing about this camera is that the design is just horrible, and that's why I kind of want to do some kind of thing overviewing just how this camera is, because it's horrible, it's atrocious. It's huge, it's made of almost entirely plastic, it's incredibly heavy, and the viewfinder, I wish you could see it right now. It's optical, and it's 16 by 9. You might be wondering, why in God's name would anybody put a 16 by 9 viewfinder on a camera that shoots in 4 by 3? And to that I would say, I have no idea. It boggles my mind. And the one on Lab Guy's website actually has an electronic viewfinder, which I don't know if it's original or not, because the manual for this camera, which is included with it, doesn't state anything about an electronic viewfinder, although there is a little port on the side that I guess is what it plugs into. I haven't done a ton of research, but it's interesting, it's fascinating. I love this camera, but it's not very well made or well designed or anything like that. There's controls on the back that don't do anything. You may notice the color looks horrible, and that's the best I can get it to look. Unless I turn on, sometimes it'll look decent if I turn on the big old movie lights here, but for the most part it's just stuck looking horrible. And that's of course because I'm not in the best lighting. This is just my basement where I do all my stuff. But I'll have to take this outside sometime. It was snowing today, so I couldn't, but I don't know if this is even interesting to anybody, just me rambling about cameras, but in my defense, I don't know anybody who's interested in this kind of thing, so putting stuff like this on YouTube is all I can do. One other stupid feature is the button to turn on to make it start recording is right below the lens, and it's like not on the pistol grip. With something like a Krasnogorsk, it's understandable because you can still press it with the pistol grip, but with this you can't. You have to reach up and get it, which is dumb. And it's of course not autofocus or anything, but it's just incredibly basic. I still love it. I still spent like $70 on it, but it also came with a movie light from, I think it's a little newer than the camera, but I turned it on and it started smoking, so I had to, I'm going to toss that. I've got this Tower branded one over here, anyway, that I can use. And I'll probably include some shots of just, whatever's around. It's got everything that is a trademark of Vidicon cameras. It's got the comet tails, it's got the image lag, it's got the horrible color, everything. And that's one thing I don't like about Vidicon tubes, actually, is image lag, but this has it to a fair extent. I don't know if this camera was used a ton. I mean, the fact that the tube is still working and is still in decent shape makes me think not, but the fact that the camera itself is in disgusting shape makes me think maybe it is. It even came with like its original EIAJ power supply, which I used for a little bit, but it was leading to some like artifacting, and I wanted this video to look decent. God, there's almost no color. It is a color camera though. It's like one of those striped Vidicon tubes. I don't really know how that works, because I'm just not very intelligent, but it's a very cool camera. It's enormous. You can kind of put it on your shoulder, but it's like very cumbersome. I got this the same day as I got my new Krasnogorsk, which is incredible. I'm deeply in love with that camera, but this one sort of has its own place. Do you see it's like I'm a ghost, and I never liked that as much as I like comet tails, and I don't like the burn in either very much. I want little comet tails, you know. And I was filming some stuff earlier on high contrast film, which is very low ISO, so I had to use these big old movie lights, which I will turn on for you now, actually, because it's interesting, I guess. You actually have to stop down the lens for it, too, because they're so bright. Oh, that doesn't translate well to video, does it? And there's controls on the back, too, that control the color. That's indoor, that's middle, that's outdoor. Outdoor actually looks okay. There's also a blue control, which you may notice is doing almost nothing, and a red control, which is doing that. It's got a little light meter too, which is saying, oh, it's saying that it's overexposed. Stop it down. See, that's just not a very pleasing looking picture. And it smells like burning because of my video lights too, which are over here. You can see it burns into, but let me sit back in the chair so I can sort of outro this video. Jesus, that's bright. That's basically all I have to say about this camera. Maybe expect me to talk about it more at some point, because I think it's really cool, but I'm gonna go to bed or something. Jesus, I'm broke now. I want to get one of those cool like 3-tube cameras and stuff, but they're all like $300, $350, $400, $1,300, which is far more than I'm willing to pay for a camera that is almost useless. I mean, it's not really useful anymore. It's, you know, a format that doesn't really get used anymore. It's EIAJ, which is basically forgotten. So and yet I still, you know, I pay $70 for it. It's cool though. God, that's bright. And I have to stop the lens down or up. Here, I'll do a fade out. And then you can still see the image lag. Fantastic. Well, bye everybody. Oh, it's not even closed all the way, so you can still see the lights. Wonderful. That was the mic hitting the ground.